My husband Lee and I are honored to be here with you today. I have worked in the field of Alzheimer's and aging for over 30 years. And in the many years that I spent developing services across the state for people with Alzheimer's, I never imagined that I'd be here with you today in this capacity. It's been a long journey for both of us. After Lee was diagnosed, I consulted my journal to see when I first noticed changes in Lee. And I was surprised to note that it had been more than 6 years that I'd been journaling. I journaled many unusual behaviors. He started spreading all of his tools out on the garage floor. He couldn't see them anymore on his bench or in his toolbox. It was taking him longer and longer to complete fix-it projects. He was drinking more than normal. I thought he was starting to have a drinking problem, and then I figured out he didn't know he had been drinking. Excel spreadsheets became hopeless. My journal documented many fears: the loss of our dreams of travel and retirement, of economic security. We had saved many years for retirement, and of just growing very old together. Our plan was to die on the same day together because neither of us could bear to die without the other, to gently fade away in each other's arms. My journal chronicled an increasing list of small signs. When I finally checked it against the 10 warning signs, I saw that he had 8 of the 10 warning signs. Lee and I discussed his concerns together and his feelings about his memory loss, and when he was ready, we talked about the benefits of having it checked out, and we made an appointment with our HealthPartners physician in St. Cloud, Gary Strandemo, who is a very close and dear friend of ours. And he had a good understanding of memory loss and Alzheimer's disease, and he did a memory screen. He agreed that further testing would be a good idea to rule out other health problems and decide if Alzheimer's was indeed the correct diagnosis. We went to see Dr. Mike Rosenblum and Dr. Terry Barkley. We call them Mike and Terry. They're good friends. At the Center for Memory and Aging. It was a long and very exhausting process. It's not something you'd ever want to do more than once. On our return visit, I thought that Lee would have a diagnosis of mild cognitive impairment and was shocked with the results. He was diagnosed with early Alzheimer's. Lee cried when Mike gave him the diagnosis, and I was numb. I was surprised that Lee accepted his diagnosis so quickly. He immediately just got his arms around it. I was so proud of him. He had been telling me for years that he couldn't do his job anymore, and he was so good at it. I think it was a relief to just let go of it. One of the first things we did was meet with his employer, and they were wonderful. We were so lucky. They helped us work out a plan for quick exit. They were very kind, and they have been very supportive. I was literally paralyzed by the financial consequences. This was years before we anticipated retirement, or at least years before I had been. I think he had already had the plan going. We support our adult son who has a neurological disorder too. Lee was our primary wage earner. He carried our health insurance. Our retirement account, everything. The financial impact has been devastating. A decision that we immediately made was that we would not waste one day of the wonderful years that we have together on being sad about what we won't have, but celebrate all that we do have, because we have so much. He allows me to do everything I can to help keep his cognitive impairment intact. He has accepted a degree of nagging that no rational husband would. He exercises relentlessly. He eats better than ever. He gets good sleep. We keep stress away, and we make sure we spend lots of time with friends. I also read that hugs and kisses delay the progression of Alzheimer's disease. So we spend a lot of time hugging and kissing. And we make bad dementia jokes, because it does suck. We have our memory club. You saw them on the video. We have 8 people that we share this journey with, and they are so precious to us. And yes, we both get angry and frustrated, especially when Lee is doing the bills. I don't let him out of anything that he can still do. We cry together, and sometimes we cry alone on long walks. We cry with our kids. Crying is cleansing. It provides the rich moisture for hope to grow. Hope is what keeps us going. We believe that there are treatments on the horizon that can deter the progression of the disease until a cure is found. At the time of diagnosis, Mike shared that you were starting to recruit for a study that we might qualify for. We jumped at the opportunity. We were fortunate enough to be selected and saw real improvement with cognitive function. But unfortunately, the drug company ended the study early. We were crushed. They did share that he had been on the treatment group, so we knew that the changes that we were seeing were real, and we were very excited about that. And I can still see those changes. They stayed. We live for the next study. Even if we are part of the control group, we know that we are helping to get treatments and a possible cure that much closer. I've decided that my husband, with your help, will live a normal life. We can do this together. You have the power to give this to my husband and to so many others like him. My message to someone who has a loved one with Alzheimer's disease is to not waste one moment on lost dreams, because never has there been a better time for dreams to come true. Thank you.